I saw her on the list for Austin.
Yes, very excited. She's happy to. It's exciting. It's in Austin, so we're
So
pumped.
we get mixed on that. Like some
Oh, really?
people, yeah, it's exciting that it's in their hometown, but then when they like go back and forth and they like feel like they're missing out on,
Yeah,
the after hours that
yeah.
they're like, oh, I wish I would have just stayed. Or they get caught up in something at home, like something happens where if it happened and you weren't there,
Hmm.
you wouldn't even think twice about it. Like you're not going to go home and take care of something, but because
Yeah,
you're there, you take care of it.
yeah. It is nice for that little getaway. So,
Yeah.
but it'll be hot. It won't be cold. It'll be hot still
Oh,
here.
I
So,
know.
yeah,
I know. I've been concerned about the heat from the beginning.
yeah.
Little preview. For those of you that are on, you joined the right call. We just are giving everybody an opportunity to get loaded into the session, but we've been concerned about the heat, so a little preview is our conference giveaway will help with the heat.
Okay, good. The good news is no one will get delayed due to weather. Like it's going to be hot and dry and
What you're gonna say that, and you'll get like a
get a hurricane or something
monsoon, and
terrible.
you
I
get a monsoon, and you can't handle the rain.
probably.
You
So
just jinxed us.
fine.
That is awesome. Um, all right, everyone that has joined, get ready to ask questions. We want this to be an interactive session, especially for those of you who are not TMC lender members and are exploring what our benefits are. But TMC's real value isn't the logo, it's the room. And working groups are where that plays out every month. It's peers solving the same problems live. And we've been talking a lot because our upcoming conference is named uniquely TMC. And we have all been doing short video clips. And I have been thinking about what it is that I can say that makes us uniquely TMC. And I think that the biggest differentiator of TMC is we create an environment in a room where competitors, whether it's lender members that are competitors, or it is preferred partners that are competitors selling similar or the same products, we're able to create a room in which that competitiveness is dropped for the greater good of the industry. And people really are willing to help each other solve problems. As when I was a lender, participating in working groups, some people would be like, well, why do you share that? And I always felt like I can share it. It doesn't mean that someone else can execute it. And a lot of our lender members take on that same mentality, and it really is competitors solving problems together. But today we're pulling back the curtains on our working groups and focus groups and catching up with the members who live in these calls, sharing something from my playbook, and we'll pull the highlights straight from the last 2 months of our group summary. So Ryan Carr, who is one of our member benefits advocates, she's going to be dropping some of the snippets in the chat of things that were discussed on our working groups. Now, it is a summary of a summary of a summary because we do want to hold those confidential conversations together, but it'll give you an idea of the things that are discussed in each of them. But this is a peer-to-peer, not vendor open calls with members share exactly what is working. Most of them are about 45 minutes, open mic format. We do tend to have a topic to start everyone off, get everybody warmed up to be able to and open to communication. But a quick tour of our lineup of working groups. So from production and ops, we have a cap markets working group, operational excellence working group, servicing working group, Encompass user group, construction lending focus group. Then on the leadership and business side, we have a finance working group, an owner operator working group. That one is closed to owner operators and it's for IMBs. And for people and culture, we have human resources and our next gen leaders that are on a monthly basis. We have a compliance working group for the risk and compliance group. We have a technology and growth segment, which is the technology working group and the lender member marketing. And then the community and networking groups are the community first working group, the credit union focus group, the women's networking group. And then for preferred partners, we have a monthly meeting that's dedicated to our preferred partners for our preferred partner advisory council. And we also have a preferred partner marketing working group. And then something that we recently introduced that isn't labeled as a working group, but it's our AI council. And our AI council functions monthly as a working group, and any lender is welcome to join our AI council and join that call. And then we have selected preferred partners who also contribute to that. So that's a lot of working groups, and it's a lot of hours, and it's something that our member engagement team focuses on every month because we really do believe that the value of people participating in that creates a stickiness within the network, and it also is people getting their greatest benefit and return on investment for their membership dues. So, Erin,
Hey.
so joining me today is Erin from University Federal Credit Union, and we see her face on many of our working groups. So
Yep.
welcome to our collaborative impact that is focusing on working groups.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, so I have to ask you,
Yep.
what is your of your working groups, what's your favorite working group?
Ooh, I had a feeling you were going to ask me that. I was thinking about it on my drive in because I attend so many of them. Um, the operational excellence is my favorite working group if I had to pick one. So
Right.
sorry to Ryan or Sarah or Ashley if that one's not yours, but that one's my favorite. So I get a lot out of it because there's so many people from so many different backgrounds on that one. And it's truly focused on operational excellence. And we cover all kinds of topics on that one. So yeah.
What are some of the like takeaways maybe from the last two that you can share? Be careful
Yeah.
because we do everyone
Yes.
needs to be anonymous and
Yep.
no specific call outs, but what are
Well,
some of your biggest takeaways?
so I think really what I walk away from is knowing that we're all in the same boat. So, we're all struggling with technology and what technology is the right investment for our organizations. And so, while there is still the technology working group, a lot of that does morph over into the operational excellence working group as well, because that's the hot topic of the day. A lot of it, I was thinking about this actually too, is in general UAD 3.6. That's coming for everyone. And
Yeah.
we keep getting these big scary messages from Fannie and Freddie, be ready or else, gotta be ready. And you get on the call and you realize, yeah, nobody's got it together yet. And that's okay.
Yeah.
We're all getting close, but we're all in the same boat. And
Yeah.
so those are two things. Another one's condos. Like we've talked a lot about what are processes around condos. What are we all going to do as the regulations changed just this week and then change again in January? So those are some of the hot topics that have really come up lately in those calls. So
Yeah, and we do see a significant amount of overlap. Our owner operator working group, our operations working group, and our technology working group, and even to some extent our Encompass working group. But the reason is because the technology is advancing so quickly, and we do have some significant regulation changes that are happening that it's causing that overlap. But it oftentimes is from a different perspective that the CEOs and presidents that are running an IMB will have a different take on or a different focus than the CTOs and CIOs who generally join the technology working group, which is also different from the operations working group, where your focus is the application,
yeah.
adoption, change management
Mhm.
piece of the technology. So I think that's why we see a significant amount of overlap. Speaking of which,
Mhm.
today, Fannie Mae's rules on AI governance came out. I haven't read it yet. we're busy planning for the ACT Tech Summit next week. So I'm sure that our AI Council will be summarizing that for all of us. But that's another area that, AI governance, AI adoption, although it is different based on the working groups, there's a significant amount of overlap. We put the AI Council together to help lenders be able to navigate those requirements, and really the onus being on the lender to ensure that if AI is being used, that it is audible and it's being used in a way that isn't violating any fair lending requirements. But we built that not just for lenders, but we believe that we can have an impact on the way that our preferred partners deliver AI solutions that are already answering the questions that lenders need to know. So a lot will be coming out of that AI, of the AI Council, related to not just how lender members should, what their policies should be, how they're going to check to make sure that their policies are meeting Fannie and Freddie requirements, but also meeting compliance requirements. And then we will relay that information to our preferred partners so that they can be prepared to help lenders along the way as well. You mentioned UAD 3.6. We had a great conversation, I think it was last week or the week before. Regora, who is one of our preferred partners, hosted an episode. There were almost 400 lenders on. There were over 600 registered, and it is a hot topic. There were about 40. So Fannie Mae has put out FAQ that you can find on their website that we are encouraging everyone to go to. But we also are trying to have a follow-up to that, because there were 40 questions that were in the chat that I think we got to like 8 to 10 of those questions. And we want to be sure that we can answer those. So look for some additional programming around the UAD 3.6 as well. Who else on your team is joining? I mean, I know you have a relatively small team. But
we're tiny but mighty. Yes.
I agree.
So,
same as TMC.
yes, so I personally attend the Encompass working group call. I attend the compliance working group call. I attend the servicing working group, operational excellence, and technology working group. I've got those recurring on my calendars. And then I have at least one representative from compliance that's also on the compliance working group. The construction lending, we're working on revamping some of our construction processes. And so we have a newly appointed construction manager, and he's attending the construction working group calls, and he's getting a lot out of that. I have my servicing analyst who also has been attending. She actually just attended her first servicing working group call, and she immediately came in here and was like, Erin, that was the best I've ever, like, this is amazing. And I'm like, it's so good. So we've got the attendees there. I will sometimes attend capital markets as well. It's not my wheelhouse, but I'm trying to learn it. And so I like to be a fly on the wall, so that as they're talking, I can like Google things and try to learn about it as they're talking. But I try to be curious there as well. So, but yeah, we have someone on every call. It seems like both of our Encompass admins joined the Encompass working group calls as well. There are so many smart people on the calls. I like to say, jack of all trades, master of none is kind of where my role is right now. But I always walk away with something from every call, or something that I need to dig into, or something I haven't thought of. So the calls mean a lot to me. And when I think about it, I'm spending 5 to 6 hours a month on these calls. And so for me, the operational excellence brain, I'm like, okay, that ends up being, if there's 8 business hours a day, that ends up being 2.5% of my month. Like that's nothing, that's an investment for me, in myself and my depth of knowledge, and an investment for our company. So it is well worth it every time. So.
Yeah. And I think it goes a long ways. Like I remember, being running a company through the pandemic, and TMC they got the cap markets working group going almost daily for weeks. There
Wow.
was a weekly like operations working group where we're talking about like how, first of all, how do we get everyone remote like immediately? And then it was also, expanded as people started to talk about coming back to work, like developing like procedures for, what for cleaning and safety of employees to make them comfortable for coming back and a transition back in that. But I think the biggest thing through that time was it can be very lonely.
Yes.
And I imagine that being at a depository at a credit union is probably even more lonely because you are a very small percentage of that
Yeah.
understand what this
Yeah.
crazy thing called mortgage is. So it is an opportunity to work with people who are experiencing the exact same things that you are, the same frustrations, and even if they're not,
Mhm.
they've been there, they've done that. So it gives you an opportunity to learn from others' mistakes
Yeah.
as well, so that you feel like you're not on an island. Another point that you made about having, individuals from compliance and cap markets, oftentimes when you are in a depository, that is not part of your mortgage division. Your cap
Right.
markets, your finance, your compliance sit outside of the mortgage division, and it can be extremely confusing. So servicing is another one because
Yeah.
you're also servicing other types of loans. So that's a great area for our depositories to get people
Mhm.
involved outside
Right.
of the mortgage division so that they don't have to feel like they are on an island. I think, you know, in running mortgage companies, probably my two weakest spots were cap markets and servicing.
Mhm.
And we actually, Tanya Bema, I saw her note taker come on. I think she's on the call too. She was my head of servicing at Nationwide Mortgage Bankers. And thank God she was amazing because it was like the biggest blind spot of my expertise and something, it's like that I hadn't had a significant amount of experience with. But, being able to join those, like you said, with cap markets or to jump in on the servicing where your weak spots are, at least you can chat GPT, Google,
Yes.
whatever to learn the terminology and see what
Yeah.
others are experiencing.
Yeah, I
Um,
really appreciate that I don't have to, that I have the opportunity to join all of these. And that's something unique with TMC that we really appreciate. So yeah.
that is awesome. One of the things I wanted to do for the audience today, because is to describe a feedback loop process that you all can implement. So it's one thing to get on these calls, but you mentioned you're making a 5-hour investment a month in these calls. If it stays with you, then someone else isn't getting the opportunity. So you're not experiencing the greatest return on investment. And by the way, all of our working groups, we do not charge extra for them. It's part of your membership. We do not limit the number of people from your organization that can attend. There are those that are called focus groups are kind of like invite only, or you have to be like the credit union focus group is specifically for credit unions. The construction working group is an invite process because we want we want lenders that are working in construction, not trying to get construction started. But we don't limit like the technology working group how many people can attend. But it is important to make sure that you're creating a feedback loop in your organization. TMC for the longest time, people thought was only for the owners, the CEOs, and the presidents, and they weren't engaging their managers. And I think that it's a huge miss. And so I encourage everyone to, when you get on Fridays, it says these are the upcoming events, or you go to the event calendar on a monthly basis and you assign individuals to go to each of the working groups. And then ask that individual that you assign it to bring back in a team meeting what you learned. Because many times there's overlap, and if someone else wasn't able to join it, they didn't get that information. But even providing, they're typically 45-minute calls. If someone can provide a 8 to 10 minute like overview recap for the entire leadership team, and then that gets disseminated down to your teams, then you just create this feedback loop, and then you start hearing people. So you should be having monthly meetings with your leadership team. If you're not, you need to start doing that today. You need to be showing what the vision of the company is. You need to be talking about what your initiatives are, and that's a great place to have your leaders present to other leaders, the working groups that they attended, and do that. So I recommend that you do that on a weekly basis, and then maybe twice a month you do the working group recap and lessons learned. We even give you the recaps. So we summarize each one of our working groups and send the recording back out to everyone that has registered, but it also gives some of those middle level managers who might not have experience presenting, it also gives them the opportunity to present to the leadership team and gain valuable experience in doing that. The Anything else on that from like the working groups, the feedback loop? Do you have a feedback loop put into place?
We do. I will generally share what I've learned with, like, we have our monthly management. We actually have bi-weekly management team meetings, but we have anyone who's been on the calls. We do share what we learned on them. And it's funny, a lot of times I'll be in a meeting and somebody will ask something and I'm like, well, have you asked TMC? Like that's the first thing I say. Like a lot of times it's like, I don't know the answer. Let me ask TMC. Like it's just a person. Like I'm just going to ask my friend. But and that's what it feels like a lot of times. So what's great is when we leave the working groups, if something didn't get answered, you have an amazing team there with you, Jody. So Ryan, Sarah, Amy, Ashley, they will help find the answers for you if we didn't get it solved on the call. So I always feel like we're walking away with that. But yeah, I love what you said about the feedback loop. We do share throughout our biweekly calls, like what we've learned or what is a problem that we haven't figured out how to solve. And so we take that to TMC to see if another organization can help us problem solve that,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
problem. So
Yeah, you definitely you don't have to wait to the meetings. We are constantly trying to answer questions. The team will come to me a lot and be like, who do you know that can answer this? Or if you can't answer it. So we're always trying to provide solutions to our lender members and get them answers quickly. Just reach out to your member benefits advocate for that. It's like it is really like having additional help desk, and many times we're going back out to people who have your same role and are doing the same thing, doing the same role at another company, and they're openly answering those questions and sharing if we're unable to answer it for you. And then we also do bring it back up in the following working group. So. I do encourage all of you that are listening that are TMC lender members, I encourage you to sign up or ask someone that is a peer or your employee that works in a specific area so that you have coverage on all of the working groups. I also encourage you to provide us feedback on the working groups. We know that from registration numbers and attendance numbers, which are our most successful working groups and which are our least successful working groups, but we're willing to pivot. So if there's something that you are not getting from the working groups that you want to get out of it, please let us know. We're here to create an environment that works for all of you. And then if there are working groups, you're like, I'm in this role, maybe I should be going to this, but I don't because of X. Tell us what the X is. And so that we can decide if it's not effective and it's not a solution that we should be offering to our membership, then we'll pivot and we'll add other working groups that could be more important, or offer specific working groups more than once a month. But we're really open to the feedback of the network and establishing those working groups. And if you're not a lender member, you need to become a lender member so that you can take advantage of this and that you can get support. I know, Aaron, running mortgage, you can't provide all of the answers and all of the decisions to everyone in every area. But it is, the working groups are a great resource for people to learn and to grow as individuals. And I would also say, we have a lot of lender members who come to us and are asking about leadership development. And really, the next gen leader has become that. And it's about leadership development and growing leaders. So, whether you're in a leadership position, want to be in a leadership position, there's great information there. If you're already a leader at your organization, joining that and paying it back and giving the others on their advice and sharing what your mistakes are, that's a great place to do that as well. Before we wrap for today, Erin, anything else that you want to make sure that you point out or advise our lender members to check
Yeah,
out?
sure. Yeah, I would just say, there's something for everyone. And so I think you've said that so well, Jody. But when I first, it was when I first joined the credit union, it's hard to believe it was 2 years ago yesterday, actually. I was told about TMC. I had come from an IMB and I didn't know about TMC because I'd come from an IMB that had been bought and then bought again. So I was with a very large IMB that didn't need any help from anyone, they thought. So joining a credit union, I went in and I joined my first working group and I was like, I'm going to sit and I'm not going to know enough to speak. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to listen and see what everyone's talking about. The imposter syndrome comes into play. But it didn't take 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And I was like, wait, I know the answer to that question. So I'm going to go ahead and just speak up really quick, but I won't be on camera. I'll just start that way. Well, within 5 minutes, I was already on camera talking to everybody and, spilling everything I knew about the little bit that I do know. So it works as long as we continue to share. And so that's what it takes is people who are willing to go in and say, this is what we do, right, wrong, or indifferent, and then let's talk about it. And I keep a OneNote open every day that I'm jotting notes on. And so I kind of have as we get into a call, I've got a list of I need to ask this about compliance, or on my next call, I'm going to ask this on the credit union group, or, I just keep a running list of questions that I need to ask. But, we would not be in the place that we are today without TMC. So we're very grateful for TMC's, the way they give back to us, and then everyone who is a member and partner and willing to share. So we're very grateful. So
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely. We often say you get out of it what you put into it. And the same is true with working groups and with collab labs. If you're just going to go in to listen, you're probably not going to get the most value of the network. It is about sharing. And if you do have that feeling like, well, I don't want them to know my competitive advantage, work harder. No one cares. Work harder. Just know that whatever you do, you're going to outwork everyone and have the mindset and mentality that even if you know the same thing that I know, I'm going to come out on top. And so it has for my career as well. I don't think I would be in the position that I'm in, even when I was at a lender, because I got a lot of my leadership knowledge from just being able to have conversations with other leaders and being in the room with larger lenders who challenged me to be more and to do more. And then the competitiveness in me just kicked in to make sure that I was continuing to grow. But Erin, thank you so much for your time. We'll be back next month. I think I don't know what the date is. I think we're doing the second Thursday of September because of the Labor Day holiday. But we'll get that information out to everyone and also share what benefit we're going to work on. I usually know that ahead of time, but I'm a little behind getting ready for the ACT Summit. And for those of you who will be at ACT next week in Dallas, we look forward to seeing you there. And we'll see some of you tomorrow on the latest in Mortgage Today. Thank you again, Erin. We really appreciate your time and your feedback.
Happy to. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.